What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Tarun's Thoughts. My name's Tarun Shetty. These are my thoughts. Hope you guys are doing well, doing fantastic. It's a glorious Friday here in Florida. Now I'm just enjoying this searing heat that's trying to melt me. I did want to talk about originality today because here's a quick story. So I was watching a show and there was a comic on the show. And he did a joke that I just started doing like a month ago. And normally I'd be okay, but I do remember, I had this weird memory where I can remember when I first told this joke. And I remember, I just did this joke like a month ago at an open mic. And I remember this guy was sitting to my left when I did that joke. And here he is doing the same joke, right? And I was like, okay, well, maybe it was parallel thinking. This stuff happens. But normally I can tell when a joke has been lifted because people have a certain style to their comedy, and my jokes are very well constructed. It's a style. Like, they're almost like one-liners in a sense, but they're very constructed. And this guy's whole act was like act outs. Then he had this random joke in it. Like, I was like, man, it makes no sense, but whatever. I don't even consider myself a Floridian. I'm just like a visitor here, like a space alien visiting this planet. So I'm not going to pick any fights. Didn't say anything. And my theory on comedy writing, like, I've heard of stories of guys being very, controlling about their... I mean, they should be. They should be very protective of their material because when people do it, it takes a long time to write jokes. And, I've heard of like George Lopez, like he almost strangled Carlos Mencia because I guess Carlos Mencia did a bunch of his material on one of his specials. Even Carlos Mencia, I mean, there's a whole thing at the Comedy Store. It's documented on YouTube about between him and Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan called him out, and Carlos Mencia was, that was the downfall of his career after that. And look where Joe Rogan is now. Look where Carlos Mencia is now. This is like the rule I try to abide by. Like, it's never your first idea. It's always your third or fourth idea. So when I sit down to write, I try to sit down for at least an hour just so I can get that engine running and just start being effusive in writing jokes. And I've only had this happen once in my life of somebody doing a joke that I did, and not accusing this guy. I probably told this story, but again, everybody knows I was a door guy at the Boston Comedy Club, and I used to go in like near the end of the show, and Gaffigan used to come in like near the end of the show, like after me, and I did this joke, and it was like, I used to go to Hawaiian luau, and the main dish was a roasted pig with an apple in its mouth. And I was like, man, couldn't they have killed the pig after he was done eating his apple? And somebody called me up and they were like, dude, I just saw Gaffigan do your joke on Conan. No way am I accusing Jim Gaffigan as a joke thief. I just think maybe he was parallel thinking. If he did see me do that joke, it's probably backlogged in his brain somewhere. But the guy's so original, and he's considered like one of the top 10 comedians today. So again, this shit just happens, right? In fact, even with me, I actually wrote a joke, and it was the joke was I went into a bathroom, like a restaurant bathroom, and there was a sign on the wall, and it said, "Employees wash your hands, especially Carl." That was a joke, meaning like people don't care at the restaurant. And I was like, man, I've heard this joke before, and like I called Dimitri Martin, who I used to know, not the name drop, but. And he goes, yeah, man, that's my joke. You even used the same name in my joke, Carl. I was like, oh, shit, man, I'm so sorry. I apologized profusely because Dimitri Martin is like probably one of the most original comic minds, of my generation anyways. And I just dropped it immediately, and I just was embarrassed. And he was the guy I'd seen many, many times live. So this stuff happens, this stuff happens all the time. And the way I counter unoriginality is by working hard, by trying to write, 5 jokes a day or whatever I do, or try to write innovative scripts, concepts that other people aren't doing and try to take chances. And I think, I think that's the problem with social media and stuff, because it almost celebrates, lip syncing or dances that other people are doing. There's no originality nowadays on the internet or in entertainment. I mean, look at all our shows now. Our shows on TV are just like repackaged from England or IP that's already been successful in other mediums. So it's a big problem I have. Obviously, it's a big problem just to me. Nobody else gives a shit, but I struggle with it because, man, if people just start doing covers of other people's acts and jokes, it's like, what's left? So those are my thoughts. I hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll talk soon. Take care.